Hi, my name is Ann Howard Hill with MCC Culinary Arts, and we are going to be demoing poultry today. Okay, so first off, we are going to be starting with a clean, sanitized station. I have some sanitizer solution right here with clean towels, as well as some backups and some gloves. When handling poultry, it is incredibly important that you stay clean so that you create a safe food product free from salmonella and cross-contamination and prepping other foods. What we're gonna be doing today is breaking down a whole chicken. We are talking about poultry right now in class and lab, and anything in the poultry category, whether it's a duck, a goose, or even a chicken, has the same body composition. So the technique that we're going to show you today is going to be very similar for every single bird, just that some are larger and some are smaller. They all have 2 legs, 2 wings, 2 thighs, and 2 breasts. So the first thing I'm gonna show you guys is how to tie a chicken. Very important that you want to check inside the cavity and make sure that it's free from any bits and pieces like the neck, the liver, any sort of giblets that may be inside the cavity. If there are, you just want to simply remove them and either save them for giblet gravy, stock, or something else you can use to make, or discard them if you choose not to use or eat them. So the first thing that I've got here is my butcher's twine, and it's always easier to have more string that you need than not enough. So we've already rinsed our birds, we've already dried them off really, really well. So we have a nice clean bird to start with. So you want to start with the legs at the top, right? And on one side, this is the backbone. You can actually feel that, but you want to flip it upside down. You want the legs to be facing away from you and the breast to be up, okay? And that's going to be the same position that we actually cut the bird in. So the first thing that you're going to do is we're going to truss the bird, or tie it nice and tight together like this, so that when you roast it whole, it cooks evenly. The legs, the wings, the breast, all cook to 165 at the same time. Okay, so first you're going to take your string like this, and you are going to loop it around the little leg, or it's not really an ankle bone, but what would be our ankle bone, and you're going to make a loop around one of the little legs, and then you're going to bring the other leg really close to it, and you're going to make another loop with your string and tightening so that they're really tight. Ooh, I got my glove in there. Really tight together, okay? And then you're going to come alongside the leg and up under the wing, and you're going to tie right here at the base, making it really nice and tight. And you definitely want to double knot it. And I like to try to use a couple of my fingers to hold the line in place, because the line will slip on the skin of the chicken. It's kind of slippery, so if you use it to hold it in place and then pull your fingers out, you can get it nice and tight. The rest of the string you can just trim off and discard. I've got a scrap bucket right here. And then we have these 2 little wing tips that you can either cut off if you would like, or you can take them and tuck them right here underneath that string on the side of the leg. So some people like to remove those tips, and if you do, that's fine. You don't have to tuck them in. But if you choose to leave the tips on, you would want to tuck them in nice and neat so that everything cooks evenly and it doesn't dry out throughout the process. And so this is a properly trussed or tied bird, and the reason that we do this is to ensure even uniform cooking. Okay, so from here I'm going to break down the whole bird into halves, then to quarters, and then into 8 pieces. So I'm just going to remove my string, discard that, and set these over here to the side. So I have 2 knives here. They're both sharp. If yours are not sharp, you would want to run them on the steel in order to get them nice and sharp. But we're going to use the breastbone here as our guide, okay? So who in here at the holidays, like, y'all ever like get the wishbone out of the turkey and see who gets to break it? Y'all ever like done that before? Okay. Anyway, you're cutting along the rib cage, the breastbone, and what is known as the wishbone. So run your finger along it, feel it, and you're going to take your boning knife and make even slit all the way through the skin and then through the meat. Okay? And I'm removing that from one side of the sternum, and I'm continuing all the way down. Okay? And so from here, you can see where it's still attached to the bone. This is where I'm going to grab my chef's knife and just crack through the bone there, splitting the bird in half. A lot of this is excess skin that I can remove and save for later. And then right here I have the spine. Okay, so the next step that you need to do is actually take the bird, and I like to kind of fold it in half on itself. You can break it in your hands, but my hands are a little bit smaller, so it works better for me just to break it that way, and that helps me separate it from the rib cage. So from here, I'm going to take my chef's knife and just crunch right through those bones, just like that. So now I have a half chicken with part of my rib bone attached, and then I have a thigh, a leg, a breast, and a wing all attached for what would be known as a chicken half. I'm gonna do the same exact thing over here, going along the spine. Sometimes you just gotta get in there and remove that. These are all great things to save for stock, okay? And then I have an identical piece here, a thigh, a leg, a wing, and a breast. And here we have our bones still intact as well as the skin. When purchasing poultry, you can buy it boneless, skinless. I prefer to cook it at least bone in because it adds more flavor. Now from here, we want to break it down into quarters. The quarters would be the thigh and the leg together. So you can actually see where that kind of is separated naturally. So you're just going to use the natural line in the bird to cut through that skin and flesh. And here we're ending up with quarters. So again, 2 legs, 2 thighs, 2 breasts, 2 wings. And typically when you break down a whole bird, you break it down into 8 pieces. So we can remove the wing, and we're going to remove the leg from the thigh. But I'm going to start with the breast and the wing. The easiest thing to do is take our little wing in one hand and the breast in the next and just pop it till you see that joint kind of come up. And then you can feel with your finger, and there's separation in the joint, and you just cut until you get all the way through. Sometimes you might need to switch and go to your chef's knife because it's just a little heavier and helps you go through that. So here we are with a nice wing, and then we have this little bit of excess. So you would want to take your boning knife and just trim that up, and we'd discard that for scrap. And so you also have a breast. We're going to do the same thing here, taking one in each hand, popping that bone out till I can feel the natural separation, and then switching to my chef's knife and going directly through that. I'm going to put the finished cuts here, and we're leaving skin on, bone intact. And then the same thing with the leg. You can pop it and see where that leg bone connects. Take your knife and cut right through it, ending up with a thigh and a leg portion. Same thing here. It's dead. You're not going to hurt it. Don't worry. And finding that natural separation. And ending up with another drumstick and another thigh. This was a relatively small bird, just a couple of pounds. We're gonna be using this today. We're gonna remove the bone and the skin from the breast and pound them out and make a chicken scallopini. We are going to do a pan-fried chicken where we will leave the bone in as well as the skin on. And then we're doing another dish where we're roasting the breast in. Thank you so much for joining us. See you next time.